What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into another NFL trade prediction video for you guys, and it's on Saquon Barkley. I do believe he'll be traded to the 49ers, but asterisk mark, warning, caution, whatever you want to say, insert all that. I don't know when. I'm not saying when. This is now NFL offseason. It could happen sometime now. 3 weeks is NFL draft weekend. Week 8, week 7 of NFL season is the NFL trade deadline. So I'm saying sometime in that time frame. So from right now, NFL offseason to the NFL trade deadline is when he will be dealt. So I don't think he'll make it to the season's end with the Giants. I will say that. So the way the video will be structured, it will be the first portion, first few minutes spent during the Giants and why he will no longer be a New York Giant. The second portion of the video will be why he'll be a 49er. And the third portion will be a sneaky team I like to swoop in and take him away from the Niners when he's dealt sometime during that time period. So let's get started with the first portion. New York Giants, why he will no longer be a member of this team. So Saquon, drafted 2018. I could pull up his numbers if I wanted to. And great first 2 years. 2018, Offensive Rookie of the Year was amazing. Great numbers. 2019, very good year as well. Slight step down, still a good year. But from that point on, 2020, 2022, the last 2 years have not been great to Saquon. New head coach, new GM in there. Joe Schoen, new GM. Brian Daboll. Now with the Bills as the new head coach. And I've went through every single quote they've said about Saquon. I'm like, something. I had a feeling. I do believe a big name player will be traded during the NFL draft season. And Saquon's a big name player by name, not by number, not by play these days. So that's why I said a big name guy. And Saquon Barkley's name been floating around rumors the whole offseason. McCaffrey's as well from Carolina, but he restructured his contract. Barkley on the last year of his rookie deal, so he can't do any of that. He's stuck where he's at. I believe a cap space hit of 7 point some million, so he can't restructure anything. He's stuck on what his number is, right? And my thing is, going through every single quote these guys made about Barkley they were very upfront, they were very honest, but they were non-committal to Barkley as well. So I'm not going through every quote. You can find yourself, just Google, but I'm not going through every single quote. But everything pointed to, Barkley they're looking at dealing Barkley, right? And no matter what Barkley does, unless he has an incredible, insane season, like kind of repeating or even better than his 2018 rookie year. If he has something like that, then all bets are off. He might get a little nice 2 year deal. But if he can't do that or replicate that 2018, 2019 season, I think he's going for good. Obviously, last year of his deal hasn't been healthy. There's no point. There's no reason to keep him around. And the best availability my coach told me growing up, from middle school and high school, is availability. And he can't be available. He only played 44 games the last 4 seasons. If you do the math, that's not good. So I like Saquon, talented player. Legs are insane, but he can't stay healthy. Now, on to the second portion, the Niners. Why the Niners? And I know Niners fans, they don't spend as much money on running back as any other team. They spend the least amount of money. Their running back group last year cost about all of Saquon Barkley's money. They had like 6 running backs. So Elijah Wilson, Raheem Mostert, what's the guy named from Ohio State? Trey Sermon, a couple other guys as well. They all equaled up to about 8-9 million. And as I said, which comes to the cap space hit of Barkley's about 7 plus, pushing 8. So Shanahan tends to go away from the higher paid running backs, obviously, because they're more expendable. He goes a bit rotation. But I think, as I said, if it comes to trade deadline time, teams are loading up. That means Saquon Barkley and the Giants are not in a good position, and that means Saquon Barkley, if healthy, is being shopped. And if he's been rumored to be shopped since this offseason, I don't think his price is that high. You know, it's gonna be you're gonna be taking on half that money because half of the year is over. So instead of $7 million, you're gonna be paying the rest of the like 3 point whatever million left. And I think that's worth enough for the Niners to take a shot on him. 1 year or a half a season deal, add him to the rotation. I don't think he'll be the guy outright for the Niners, but he does fit Shanahan's scheme well. It fits him the best. They have a good O line. They have multiple weapons around him that you just can't focus on Saquon Barkley. No matter who the quarterback is, Jimmy G or Trey Lance. And I think it'll be a short term, half year rental. I don't know if they'll bring him back long term. I don't think it'll be a need to. But if they can spend a fourth, fifth round pick on Saquon, that's worth it for a title contending team. You know what I'm saying? If they're in a good spot during this year's NFL trade deadline timeline, it makes sense to me. I don't know why they wouldn't spend a fourth or a fifth on Saquon. Maybe a pair. Maybe at the most a third and a fifth, third and sixth, fourth and a sixth. That's not bad at all. So I think it's worth it just to have a rental year of Saquon and add him to a rotation with a good old line, with a good defense, with the overall good team. You never know what could happen if you're the Niners. Take a gamble, try to make your team a little bit better. So I think that's my opinion. Well, that's my opinion on why I think Saquon, could be dealt later on during the offseason. All right, guys. Now on the part 3 of the video, which team I believe that could swoop in and take away the Niners' chance at getting Barkley by getting him first, and I believe it's the New York Jets. It makes sense to me. They have all the money in the world. He only has a cap hit of seven point something million. Nothing crazy, and they need to find a Benson partner, a running mate with Michael Carter. They re-signed Tevin Coleman, hard nosed guy, tough runner, but he's not the guy I believe the Jets want paired with him. As you know, Carter back in UNC days, he ran with the guy up in Denver. I forgot his Javonte Williams, I believe, the Denver running back. They came out the same year together. They ran together in UNC, did well together. And I think they're looking for another version of that. The Jets did make their O-line better. They have Elijah Vera Tucker already. They signed Lincoln Thompson, if I'm not mistaken. They have George Fant still. They might go tackle in the draft. They have Bakai Becton, so they have a squad. They have a good team, and they have a young quarterback. I say rookie. He's a young quarterback now, going to his second year. So they're gonna need more weapons, more help, and they missed out on Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying Barkley's Hill. He won't have that same effect. I understand that, but explosive players matter. And Michael Carter isn't really explosive, but Saquon could be. He can be. So this deal for the Jets, I believe, would happen around NFL draft night, draft weekend. I don't think they'll make a trade for him during the trade deadline. I doubt it. During in season mode, I think this is a move for NFL trade deadline. NFL off season, NFL draft night type of deal, and it makes sense. Pairing him with Michael Carter, and then having a tough nosed runner. If Barkley goes down, which is highly likely, the way his history has been so far, you still have Tevin Coleman on that roster. They can afford all three to be on the same team. They're not paying a large amount for Tevin Coleman. Carter was a second or third round pick, not too much money. So, it can add up to being a good rotation or just a good tryout, because it all can be just a 1 year rental. The Jets aren't a contender, or they might not be, so Barkley, if he fails fails with the Jets, it won't be a big deal. They still have running backs behind him, Carter and Coleman and more, that could fill in and definitely, the Jets don't have to rely on Barkley to make big plays. If he works out, great. If he doesn't, cool. It's a 1 year rental anyway. It is what it is. So I like the Niners to get him around NFL trade deadline time. But the Jets, I like them to get him if they sneak in and want to pursue him. I think they can get him around NFL draft weekend. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.